When Star Trek, the original series, first premiered in September of 1966, few people could have imagined what it would eventually become. It wasn't just another science fiction show. It was a bold experiment, a series that imagined a future where humanity had moved beyond many of its divisions, where people of different races and cultures worked side by side, and where exploration mattered more than conquest. For 3 short seasons, audiences followed the crew of the USS Enterprise as they traveled across the galaxy. But what made the show unforgettable wasn't just the alien worlds or the futuristic technology. It was the people. The actors who stood on that bridge turned a weekly television program into a cultural phenomenon. And now, decades later, we look back not just at their characters, but at how each of these legendary stars faced their final years, and how their journeys ultimately came to an end. Let's begin with a man who sat in the captain's chair. William Shatner, who portrayed Captain James T. Kirk, remains the last living pillar of that original bridge crew. Born on March 22, 1931, in Montreal, Canada, Shatner became synonymous with bold leadership, dramatic pauses, and unwavering confidence. His portrayal of Kirk defined the template for television captains for generations. What makes Shatner's story remarkable is that it has not yet reached its final chapter. Even in his 90s, he continues to tour, write books, narrate documentaries, and appear at conventions. In 2021, he fulfilled a dream that blurred the line between fiction and reality. At the age of 90, he traveled into space aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket, becoming the oldest person ever to journey beyond Earth's atmosphere. For millions of fans, it felt poetic, Captain Kirk, at last, truly touching the stars. Shatner has spoken candidly about aging and loss. Over the years, he has attended memorials, paid tribute to former castmates, and reflected openly on the strange reality of outliving friends who once stood beside him on the Enterprise bridge. Leonard Nimoy, who portrayed the iconic Mr. Spock, passed away on February 27, 2015, at the age of 83. His death was caused by complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a condition he later linked to decades of smoking earlier in life. Nimoy's portrayal of Spock transcended television. The half-Vulcan, half-human science officer became a symbol of internal conflict, logic versus emotion, duty versus identity. For many fans, especially those who felt different or out of place, Spock represented quiet strength and self-acceptance. In his later years, Nimoy embraced photography, poetry, and reflection. He frequently shared thoughtful messages with fans. His final tweet read, "A life is like a garden. Perfect moments can be had, but not preserved except in memory." It was a line that felt almost scripted for a Vulcan philosopher. When he passed, tributes poured in from across the world. Astronauts, scientists, actors, and world leaders all acknowledged how deeply Spock had influenced them. Live Long and Prosper became more than a line. It became a farewell. DeForest Kelley, who brought Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy to life, died on June 11, 1999, at the age of 79. He had been battling stomach cancer. Kelly's role as Bones was crucial. He was the emotional anchor of the Enterprise. Where Spock offered logic and Kirk offered command, Bones offered heart. His sharp wit, southern charm, and passionate arguments gave the show its humanity. After Star Trek, Kelly largely stepped away from Hollywood. He lived a quiet life in California, staying close to his wife and maintaining friendships with his former co-stars. Those who knew him described him as gentle, humble, and deeply appreciative of the fans who kept Star Trek alive long after it left television. James Doohan, who played Chief Engineer Montgomery Scotty Scott, died on July 20, 2005, at the age of 85. His health had declined due to pneumonia and complications related to Alzheimer's disease. Doohan's life story was heroic even before Star Trek. He was a decorated World War II veteran who landed on Juno Beach during the Normandy invasion. During the war, he was shot multiple times and lost a middle finger on his right hand, something carefully hidden from cameras throughout the series. As Scotty, he became the embodiment of loyalty and ingenuity. "I'm giving her all she's got, Captain," became one of the most quoted lines in television history. After his death, portions of his ashes were sent into space, fulfilling a wish he had expressed many times. It was a tribute fitting for a man who helped fictional starships survive countless crises. Nichelle Nichols, who portrayed Lieutenant Uhura, passed away on July 30, 2022, at the age of 89. Her cause of death was heart failure. Nichols' role was groundbreaking. In the 1960s, seeing a black woman portrayed as a confident, intelligent communications officer on a starship bridge was revolutionary. She wasn't a servant. She wasn't a stereotype. She was an officer. One of television's most historic moments occurred when Uhura shared an interracial kiss with Captain Kirk. The scene made headlines and pushed cultural boundaries at a time when the United States was deeply divided. Off-screen, Nichols worked with NASA to recruit women and minorities into the astronaut corps. She personally helped encourage future astronauts to apply, including individuals who would go on to make history in real space missions. Her influence reached far beyond Hollywood. George Takei, who portrayed Lieutenant Hikaru Sulu, is still alive today. Born on April 20th, 1937, Takei's life story includes profound resilience. As a child, he and his family were placed in Japanese-American internment camps during World War II. Those experiences shaped his lifelong activism. After Star Trek, Takei became a vocal advocate for civil rights, LGBTQ+ equality, and historical awareness. He has remained deeply connected to fans and continues to speak publicly about justice and inclusion. Walter Koenig, who joined the series in its second season as Pavel Chekhov, is also still living. Born on September 14, 1936, Koenig's youthful character represented optimism and international cooperation during the height of the Cold War. Koenig later experienced personal tragedy when his son, Andrew Koenig, passed away in 2010. Through grief, Koenig became an advocate for mental health awareness, encouraging others to seek help during difficult times. Majel Barrett, who portrayed Nurse Christine Chappell and later became the voice of the Enterprise computer, died on December 18, 2008, at age 76 after battling leukemia. She was married to Gene Roddenberry, the visionary creator of Star Trek. Barrett's voice became a constant thread throughout the franchise. Across decades of different series, that calm, computerized voice guided countless crews. Her presence ensured continuity long after the original show ended. Gene Roddenberry himself passed away on October 24, 1991, at age 70 from heart failure. Roddenberry imagined a future rooted in hope, a future where humanity had learned from its mistakes. His ashes were later launched into space, symbolizing his lifelong connection to stars. Over time, the cast of Star Trek, the original series, became more than actors. They became cultural ambassadors of optimism. They attended conventions for decades, meeting generations of fans who credited them with inspiring careers in science, medicine, engineering, and space exploration. Each loss felt deeply personal to fans who had grown up watching the Enterprise crew confront unknown world with courage and curiosity.